So, as it turns out, internet privacy is just in a free fall. It is insane how quickly the government has managed to start removing, or at least motioning for the removal of all internet privacy. If you don't know, in the European Union, they are basically reintroducing something called chat control. Is basically when they scan your chat messages for CSAM, which is really illegal sexual content, like very illegal stuff, right? I mean, it's bad. Obviously, nobody wants that. But what they're kind of doing is using, this kind of really illegal content to excuse spying on every chat message that has ever existed. If you want to text your mom happy, Mother's Day or something on WhatsApp or any other, messaging site, they will literally see that. Obviously, this law is still not in effect, but they will be, reconsidering this law, right? Voting for it on October 14, 2025. Basically, by then the rules could be adopted, right? They could start implementing this, and this will be basically just a law. And every platform, no matter how good their end-to-end encryption is, will need to apply. Even platforms like Signal, which have incredible privacy. I mean, if you don't believe that Signal is private, the U.S. Government used Signal just recently. Yeah, they did get exposed, but that's because they're the US government. So Signal, even platforms like that would basically be under surveillance. So any kind of privacy that existed would be gone, because at least up until this point, internet privacy was kind of gone in the, kind of way that, oh, you have to make an account, you have to do this and that. If you make a post, everybody knows who's making that post. If you see something, if you access a site, they know your IP, stuff like that. Or if you make a post on Twitter, right, or rather X, then and you make something that is against the government policy, like that one lady did, then you could get legally charged and stuff like that. But at least you could always rely on private messaging, right? You could always privately text on sites like WhatsApp, which I personally use because WhatsApp's great, or Signal, right? Nobody could really spy on that because they have something called end-to-end encryption, which is basically whenever you make a message, right, whenever you transmit a message, it gets encrypted, sent to the receiver, for example, in the case I mentioned before, your mom, and then the message gets decrypted, right? And if somebody is trying to peek and see your message, they can, because when they kind of open up the cable, this is metaphorically, they open up the cable, access your kind of that transfer when the message is transferring, they will see just an encrypted garbage, right? They will see a bunch of letters and stuff like that, basically something they can't translate. So it's basically the best way to look at it is you're sending a message in English, then it gets translated to Chinese, only Chinese that nobody can translate and read, and then when it's received by the other person, it gets translated back into English again. So that's the best way. That's kind of how it works, at least as I understand how it works. So from what I understand, they want to implement a thing where they scan your messages before they get encrypted. So basically, whenever you send a message, an image, whatever, they will scan it. They will have access to it before it gets encrypted, before that crucial encryption point, which basically removes all of the little privacy that people have, right? Now, if you want to message, the government can see that and they have access to it. So, for example, if you get into, some sort of trouble or something, they have all of your chat messages immediately, right? So, one way that I saw that people are gonna, I watched some Ordinary Gamers video on this, and one way that people are proposing to fight this is with something called Pretty Good Privacy, which from what I understand is basically another kind of layer of encryption, which is when you send the message, instead of sending the message and being hey mom, you send an encrypted message, right? Encrypt, you send an actual string of very weird letters and stuff, and then the person receiving that can decrypt it manually. So it's basically, you don't rely on the service, you don't rely on WhatsApp's encryption, you don't rely on Signal's encryption, you encrypt the message when you send it. So even if the government tries to peek into the before you send it, even if they peek into it before it gets encrypted by the specific service, and then they literally they see just that encrypted message. It's already encrypted, so they can't peek in. And it has like, you can add like a password, it has like keys. So basically it's pretty secure, but it's like annoying, right? It's annoying to do. Like, I don't imagine a lot of people going through the trouble. It's only like if you actually want to send something that, like, you wouldn't want people seeing, then like something maybe private or something, right? Personal, then maybe. But yeah, so far it's not looking good for humanity. It's looking like another 1984 episode. It's looking like another Animal Farm episode. I really don't understand what is up. Like, maybe something in the galaxy shifted. Maybe like a star fell out of the sky or something, and suddenly all of the governments are just cracking down on internet privacy. I don't know if they're doing this solely to remove privacy and to spy on people. It could be that they are actually, trying to get rid of all of this, like, CSAM and stuff like that, get rid of illegal content, because, like Gore and stuff, they are trying to get rid of illegal content, but the people who are making these laws have no idea how technology works, so they don't know how to do it to where people still retain their privacy, because, the government doesn't care about people's privacy. The government is basically like parents, right? The government is a parent, and the public, the people, are the kids. And as we all know, every parent wants to know exactly what their kids are doing. I mean, there are literally, like apps that a parent can install on their kid's phone to see exactly what they do. So it's only obvious that this could be coming from a good intentioned point. Like, the government could be doing this out of in good faith, but they just don't know how to implement these laws, right? They don't know how to make sure that illegal content is not being distributed online without actually breaching people's privacy. All we can do is speculate and move against these laws, because they don't help anybody, right? These laws, they will surely, probably, if this gets passed, remove a lot of illegal content, but at the same time they will just remove privacy, because privacy is a human right. It is a fundamental human right, just like freedom of speech, just like any other thing, right, that is crucial to a human. It is a human right, and privacy should not be removed, right? I think at this point the best thing to do is simply, like, personally what I would do, at least what I am doing, kind of, right, is to just simply start learning how to live without the internet. Start learning how to live with, as little as little internet as you need, right? So instead of relying on Netflix to watch your movies, maybe buy a DVD, maybe buy a Blu-ray and get a DVD player. And maybe instead of reading books online, instead of getting a Kindle, maybe buy physical books, right, that you can actually physically, tangibly read and learn how to actually, like, for example, this pretty good privacy thing, right, how to actually gain actual privacy. So yeah, so basically I think we are moving into a little bit of a dystopia with all of this. So it was the UK with their stupid online stuff, the US, and with YouTube, and now this in the EU, which is actually, since I'm in the EU, this will affect me. So I'm not happy about this. This is not good. This is not good for humanity. And yeah, I really hope this doesn't get passed. I hope that people, at least the people in government, realize how this is infringing on human rights, because in the modern world, human rights have become like a very secondary thing almost, right? People just realize how much power they have, and they just don't care about things like human rights. Like, I literally recently got banned on Reddit, on a subreddit, and I was talking to the mod, and the mod was like bragging that I don't have human rights on this platform. So I think human rights to people in power are a thing that doesn't really affect them. They don't really care about. But I really hope this law does not get passed. I hope that the government, the EU government, doesn't pass this. If they do, then I think people will find more ways to fight back. They will find ways to basically just undermine this, right? It will make existence as a human using the internet much harder, but it will at least, be some sort of a fight. So yeah, I hope obviously this doesn't happen, but it seems that it is happening. And And yeah, so basically brace for impact, guys. Yeah, if even if you're living in the US, even if you're living in like, I don't know, Australia, if this happens in the EU, this will start happening in other countries. This will start happening essentially everywhere, because the EU is just such a big part of the world, and it's such an influential one. Like if something happens in China, then that doesn't mean that it will happen in like the US or EU, because that's China. They are kind of a separate world. They're completely different. But the EU is part of the West, right? They're part of the global kind of like, countries, right? They affect people. So yeah, so if this happens, it's going to be a real bad day for humanity. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you liked it. If you did like it, leave a like. If you disliked it, leave a dislike. And obviously tell me in the comments why you disliked it, so I can improve my videos in the future. Hope you enjoyed. Live long and prosper.